FAU versus Boston College. We are less than 48 hours away from tip-off, and it's almost game time. This is going to be a great game. Spread just opened up.
Well, we love it here. It's a unique place. It's a great place to live in Boca. We've got a great place to recruit to. Number one recruiting class last year. We were only here for a month, and now the on-field success and great stadium. So there's a lot of reasons why you would stay here that people probably wouldn't think you normally would.
Come to paradise, baby.
Lane Kiffin. Man, people are linking him to the Florida job. They're also linking him to the LSU job. So we don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, he got his rebuild here at FAU. He came to FAU after being fired at LSU, and this is what got him back into coaching. It's what got him that Ole Miss job, and that's what he had to say about FAU. But let's get on topic here. As I mentioned, FAU Boston College just one day away from tip-off. And this is a really crazy thing that a lot of people have told me. A mid-major school in FAU is hosting a ACC Power 5 school. And I think this is awesome because you usually see it the other way around, where a Power 5 school is going to pay a mid-major $100,000 to go to its game like Michigan State did with James Madison last year, and James Madison beat them. But that's most of the case where you see these bigger schools hosting. Blake, I want to start with you. How cool is it that our school, FAU, gets to host an ACC program?
Yeah, it's great. It's big for just the whole kind of Palm Beach County area in general, the whole Boca area. You're having a school like Boston College, obviously a top institution in the country academically, and they have some great sports programs over there as well. To come down to FAU and really get a great test of basketball. I think what we're going to talk about here tonight is how we all think this FAU team can perform. Obviously, everyone remembers that 2023 season. JJ, I know he's been live on Twitter saying a lot of things about how he feels about this FAU team, and a lot of it is very, very positive. So I think it's great to be hosting a team like Boston College. In the ACC, AC got teams like Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke. So Boston College does go up against some top-tier competition. It's going to be great to see how FAU handles this one, especially going into their first game of the season. It's going to be a great opener. We got a long way to march, but I think this FAU team will have a great test early on, and the future is bright, definitely, down here in Boca.
Sebastian, I wanted to ask you this, and Blake, love the answer, love it for sure. But Blake, I wanted to ask you, Sebastian, about, you were at the game on Thursday. You saw the atmosphere for a scrimmage, and it was packed. It wasn't, sold out or anything, but that was a good atmosphere for the scrimmage. You saw the students showing up. You saw some of the young kids showing up. We had a few teams go to the game, and I know it's a smaller arena, but it was loud against a Division II Florida Tech team. So are we expecting a sellout because there's only 40 more tickets left for the BC game?
Yeah, man, I feel like we should expect a sellout, especially with the way we were moving against Florida Tech, absolutely destroying them. So I think, it should be a sellout, especially with the success we had over the years, making it to the Final Four. I wish I was going to the Boston College game, but like I'm an hour away, you know what I mean? So, but it should be a sellout, especially against a very, talented program in Boston College. Obviously, last year was not their best year, going 4-16 in the conference last season. But yeah, honestly, not should be a sellout, especially on the first game of the season. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm so excited for the game. Power 4 school, and man, if you're in Boca right now, what are you doing? If you're not going to a Power 4 game, it's hosted by FAU. And FAU is favored. This is like a script that's turned because you usually see it the other way around. And that's what's so good about FAU basketball now in the day. It looks like we're respected. Sebastian, I want to go back to you from the scrimmage on Thursday because we went live after the scrimmage. I was probably our biggest stream. We had 200 people in there live. But I wanted to ask you, for those who missed the scrimmage, what was your overall takeaway from the scrimmage and who really stood out to you? And also recap it. What was the score? All of that.
Yeah, the score was 110-68. FAU absolutely dominated the game. I was taking photos on during the sidelines in my little box area, which was cool and nice. But yeah, honestly, a very outstanding performance for the FAU Owls. Obviously, the first quarter was kind of a little bit messy. We are kind of jetting together, but as soon as the second half went around, we really took control of the game on offense and defensively. I love that the bench was like every time we got an and one, or every time we went to the free throw line, or every time we got a steal or a big play on defense, the bench was, lifting the guys on the court with their energy and their energy and stuff like that, which I absolutely loved. But some of the main guys that I really liked, obviously, you really like Cannon Carlisle. Super, super good performance, a very good performance. He said he was going to lead the Owls for in point scoring, but he had 12 points. Not really the best shooting night, but really, stood out to me in during that game. Amar Diop shot 100% from all arrows, from three, from the field goal, from the free throw, with 17 points as well. Johan Cisco, Cisco,
Sissoko.
Sissoko, my bad, my bad. I feel like he had, the most, overall performance, in my opinion, really, in relief for Nicolo Moretti, because obviously he was questionable during that time. But, Johan really stood out for me, really a field general in that game. Making the great plays, making the passes, finding his open teammates. So I feel like Johan really stood out to me. Maybe I don't know what the starting lineup or what the projected starting lineup for FAU is. Maybe he starts, or maybe he comes off the bench versus Boston College. But I expect him to have a big game against Boston College. And obviously, Devin Vanderpool. What a performance! 24 points against Florida Tech was definitely an outstanding performance against him. So I cannot wait against Boston College. And those are some of the notable players that played super well against Florida Tech.
Yeah, and I want to go over the guys you mentioned and everything that you touched on there. So first off, Devin, this is a guy who was at FAU under the Dusty May era. He stayed, developed, he progressed within his game, and he really is able to show his talent. And that was the first time we saw it on display. He started 24 points for him, 5 for 7 for him from the field, shot really well, got to the line a lot. Very good night there for Devin Vanderpool. Johan Chisoko, you mentioned it. He is a true point guard. Excellent vision, insane playmaker. He finds his teammates. He really likes to control the pace at the top of the key. And we saw him call for a lot of screens where he would be off that pick and roll. And a lot of times he would hit Amaram Ku, who was driving. And when they went under the screen, he would pull up himself. Devin Williams was excellent inside. He has an excellent paint presence. Cannon Carlisle, this is a guy who might be a lottery pick next year that FAU had. Cannon Carlisle, 5-star recruit. He was at Indiana, only got 5 points a game last year, decided to enter the portal to get more playing time. He came to FAU. So this is a very talented team with a lot of international talent. And I don't know if we want to even play Nico because Johan was so good. Devin was so good. Nicolo Moretti, he's already hurt. If he's not going to be 100%, I don't want to switch anything up. Blake, I want to go to you, and I want you to tell us a little bit about the backcourt for this Boston College team.
Yeah, let me pull up my notes here. I was on some of the FAU stuff, looking at some of those guys. Obviously, Sebastian mentioned some of their great performances from the scrimmage. We know we did talk about this a little bit before off camera, but we think this Boston College team is the focus is gonna be on their backcourt, trying to play small ball and really trying to work the game in that aspect of the game. Chase Forte, a South Dakota State transfer, coming off of an 18 point per game season last year, and also won the Defensive Player of the Year for his league. Not a great shooter, but definitely a guy that we need to watch out for getting inside the paint. And he's a veteran guy, coming off of a couple of seasons of college basketball. He's definitely going to give Boston College a little bit of a spark. And then you go to Fred Payne, the redshirt sophomore, 7 points per game, but he can shoot the three ball. What we've seen kind of him and the small forward my bad, Donald Hand have some chemistry from playing with each other last year, and he's a guy that averaged 16 points per game. So this Boston College team, getting a guy like Chase Forte into the mix with that connection from Payne to Hand already in place is a huge boost for them. I can see those two guys being the big difference makers in this Boston College team, and I think we're going to touch on this later. Boston College is going to try to use a small ball. FAU has a lot of the big guys, 6'5" guards, 7-foot centers. We're going to try to really use that to our advantage and kind of play the game that way. It's going to come down to who can control the pace early, and I think that's what the Boston College backcourt is going to look to do. Control the pace or early, hope to get some points up, get inside the paint, get FAU in foul trouble, and really try to dominate the game that way. And those two guys are going to be the key points that FAU needs to limit if they want a chance to win this game. And I think if they can do that, they got a shot.
Yeah, and I want to mention Fred Payne, their shooting guard, as well. He did have 7 points a game last year. He does return. The thing is about all these guys is they can't shoot from three. And, Fred Payne, Chase Forte, and Donald Hand all are shooting under 37% from the perimeter. And FAU has that 3-point experience. They're able to make shots from three. In the scrimmage, they shot 24 threes. They made 13 of those. They shot over 50% as a team from beyond the arc. And Boston College doesn't have that. Chase Forte is an excellent shooter from inside the 3-point line. He's shooting 47%. That is top 20 in the country in terms of guards. However, from beyond the arc, he can't shoot. And he's great from either one of those elbows. He's great with those floaters from the free throw line. And I was watching film from him. He gets to the free throw line last year more than any other player in the country. So he's going to cause those fouls. He is only 65% from the line. So it's not like you're going up against one of the best free throw shooters. But still, that's going to be really interesting to watch. Donald Hand, again, 37% from the field. That's not that good. Fred Payne, 36% from the field. 33% from three. These guys, they can't really make shots. And if you want to win basketball game, you got to make shots. So unless Errol Grant and his staff really made a vocal point this offseason on shooting, I don't see how, these guys are going to be able to hurt FAU from the perimeter, and perimeter defense hurt FAU last year. But Blake, I want to go back to you here. When it comes to these three guys in general, all around them, it looks like Chase Forte is going to be the guy to stop. But, what do you think FAU's defensive set is going to be? Is it going to go be man-to-man? Or are they going to want to play a trap and a double on Chase Forte because he's clearly the lead guy? Do they want to go zone? They played a lot of 1-3-1 last year. What do you kind of see about FAU?
I think Coach Jacobs has been known to kind of mix up what he wants to do on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's able to adjust pretty well based on what he sees in the game and what he sees from the team that he's going up to face. I really think, you love to start it. You would love to kind of start and continue a game in one defensive set, whether it's man or zone, because if you're going in with a defensive game plan, you're able to keep it because it's being effective. You want to kind of run that. I think they might try to go zone. Obviously, I mentioned some struggles from the perimeter. If you're in that zone defense, you're able to kind of squeeze inside the paint. You need the guys to come down, be able to help. When you need to get man-to-man, you're kind of trying to defend that perimeter a little bit more typically. I think they might run a little bit of zone to start. I think zone is a great defense to run just kind of at the start of the game to get the legs moving and really get the court talking and flowing and get the guys kind of gelling on the defensive side of the ball. And especially with FAU's height advantage, zone coverage could be great. But if they start kind of getting hot, I know you mentioned it's not their strength from the three-point line. You never know what an entire summer of practice can do to someone's three-point shot. It can get great improvement, especially if these guys were practicing over the summer, and their coaches made a point of it. So I think you could see Jacobs pivot either way, but I think zone is going to be a good baseline for him to start in overall. And it's going to be something to look out for this whole season, what he's going to do on defense, because I think FAU, with their entire roster, can play man, can play zone, and can try to specifically trap. I don't think they're going to hone in on Forte only, because I think Hand being a returning player is going to be really, really important. Obviously, coming off a Most Improved Player award, he might get a little bit of the focus. I think they're going to run zone though, and just try to keep everyone in check.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. And, one thing that I think about with this BC team and how I would play defense is I would play a 1-3-1 zone because BC doesn't have anyone who can create shots. No one in their starting lineup averaged 3.5 assists or more last season. And 3 of their 5 guys have a negative assist to turnover rate. So Boston College isn't going to create a lot of shots. Usually Chase Forte is going to be that guy, but there's not going to be any excellent playmaking. He's a true point guard and only averaged 3 assists a game last year. No one else averaged more than him. So I think you can't play man-to-man defense because if you do a lot of times, that's going to be able to create space for these BC offensive guys, especially. So that's my overall outlook on that. Also, one other thing, BC, they're not really good at shooting. They're not really good at assists, but they're really good at rebounding. Chase Forte, a 6'4" guard, averaged 4.5 rebounds a game last year and 5.5 rebounds on offense per game. That's crazy numbers for a guard to be putting up that. Then you have Fred Payne. He averaged 3 rebounds a game. He's just 6'1". Donald Hand, 6.5 rebounds a game last year. Then you got Aiden Shaw, who only got a few minutes. He only averaged about 9 minutes a game. In those 9 minutes, 2 rebounds a game. Then you have a guy who averaged 15 minutes in Jaden Hastings, 3.1 rebounds. So this BC team is very aggressive, and it's very troubling for BC if they are to be aggressive at the rim. And, it's going to be hard for FAU to rim protect that very stellar rebounding that they have. So if you're FAU, how do you kind of stop that on both offense and defense? Coach Jake has said it. The team who wins the rebounding battle most likely wins the game.
Yeah, I'll bounce off of you real quick, JJ, and then Sebastian can get his take on this. But yeah, I mean, so much of rebound is hustling. I mean, when you're little and you're playing basketball, they tell you just get your hands up there and make a play and box out. I do think obviously FAU does have the height advantage. They're gonna need to keep that aggressive level and that tenacity when they're going up to get the rebounds. But overall, I mean, rebounds are so important. Obviously Chase getting those rebounds in South Dakota State. We can see if he can keep that same aggressive tenacity at a bigger school and at a higher level. But FAU will need to be very, very aggressive. And I think that zone defense also may help with some of the rebound problems. Because if you're able to kind of stay in zone and get guys able to crash the boards, you can do a lot better in zone than man coverage. So hopefully we're able to kind of control that. I think obviously this Boston College team is going to get some offensive rebounds. It's just about managing the possession.
Yeah, and I want to go to Sebastian. I 100% agree with you with that analogy of when you first start learning basketball. But also, Earl Grant said in his press conference that he wants to take 40% of their offensive shots from 3. Last year, they only shot 28% of their shots from 3. This year, he wants to up it to 40. What are your thoughts on that, Sebastian? Because me personally, if I'm FAU, I'm smiling at that because they don't have any really good 3-point shooters that could really exploit us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what he was talking about there, but because because I think with our perimeter defense, I think it can shut out. I feel like with Chase Forte, the guards, and Fred Payne, I feel like they can, maybe maneuver their way to the basket somehow. But that's gonna be even tough with our freaking our tall guys. You know what I mean? And Langerfield and Nugenbauer. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be tough with that. So I don't know how they're gonna shoot, threes, but it's gonna fall into the hands of Chase Forte. Obviously, you said, you know, a South Dakota State transfer, averaged 17.9 points per game, 6'4" guard, senior. I think he's obviously the most potential player and a very good player. But the marquee matchup that I really want to see is Sissoko and Forte. Obviously, Sissoko had a very good performance. Obviously, Johan Sissoko um, had a very good performance, plus minus a 44, super positive on that end, and also he had such a good game on the defensive end. So I really think he can lock down Chase Forte on Monday night. But I think it's going to come down to the defensive effort for FAU. Can they stop these two guards and Fred Payne and Chase Forte? Obviously, I think that's going to be a very tough battle. But let's just see how it plays out. But yeah, let's just see.
Yeah, and Sebastian, I wanted to mention with you that you're right. Forte is going to take a primary amount of the 3-point shots as well. But Forte's main part of his game, he's not like Johan Sissoko. Someone you mentioned. Johan Sissoko, when FAU runs their offense at the point, they play pick and roll. That's what happens. He's going to get a screen at the top of the key. He can either decide to take it himself to the hoop, pass to the big man on the screen, take the shot himself, pull up. But what Chase Forte does is he wants it himself in ISO. He doesn't create shots. He doesn't play pick and roll. So if he is going to shoot those threes, they're usually going to be from step backs himself, not those catch and shoot threes, because we saw a lot of times we would see, Devin Vanderbilt drive, kick out to Amara Koo on the right corner. Amara Koo would shoot it himself. He'd make it. That's not them. They're not going to play kickouts. He's going to take step backs. He's going to create separation at the point and shoot it himself. We've talked about the backcourt, Sebastian. The front court's not that experienced. You got two guys, Aiden Shaw and Jaden Hastings. Neither of them average more than 4 points a game. FAU's front court, on the other hand, you have a guy in Devin Williams, a former 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Yes, he wasn't excellent at UCLA, but he still got to develop at UCLA. Then you have Xander Pantalones. Excellent. He started. He had a great game. I think it was 15 points in the scrimmage. Another guy who's international. When it comes to this front court, what really jumps out to you? Is it the size? Sebastian?
Yeah, JJ. Yeah, okay. Yeah, JJ. Of course, it's his size. I mean, that's gonna be the main difference on that front court. I mean, I don't think Aiden Shaw and Jaden Hastings is gonna have an easy battle. Obviously, I think on the offensive side, it's gonna be towards the forwards. In Donald Hand Jr., I feel like he's gonna be the main forward, but obviously the guards. Forte. He's gonna be the main offensive scorer, but I don't think it's gonna be a very easy game for the Boston College front court. I think our guys are gonna be prepared for the challenge, especially Pentalone, who had a very good performance, like you said, 15 points, and he was the starter. I think he's gonna start on Monday, and as well as Devin Williams, 6'10", both 6'10" guards, or not guards,
6'11".
bigs, 6'11" forwards, yeah. And obviously with Aiden Shaw and Jaden Hastings, they're 6'9". So obviously Boston College is going to run that small ball like you talked about, Blake. Aiden Shaw, obviously a Missouri transfer, 6'9", 210 pounds. I mean, I feel like a realistic NBA comparison, I kind of feel like it's early years of Bam Adebayo. Obviously, not his offensive ability is not that great, very limited, but his defense is pretty good. Obviously, he lobs a lot. A very switchable defender, just like Bam Adebayo, and he played 92 games at SEC, which is great experience for him. Jaden Hastings, redshirt freshman, 6'9" as well as just like Aiden Shaw. He's a very good rim protector and he's a lob finisher. So it's going to be a very interesting front court battle between the pair of two teams. But I think our bigs got it, and it's going to show it on Monday night.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at both of these bigs, when you look at the pair of bigs, I think FAU is the depth in that, because Vincent Neubauer was excellent, especially at playmaking, and also he shot the three. He made 3 3-pointers. So this is another guy who's 7'1", who can shoot the three for FAU. Oh, maybe like Kristaps Porzingis. They're from
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean the same comparison, but when
Yeah.
you think about it, I think that FAU has the depth size in the bigs. Sebastian, Boston College was picked last in the ACC, 18th out of 18. What do we think about that? Do we think that they should be higher? Because me personally, they're definitely not in the top 10. They don't look particularly solid, but could Chase Forte really change the dynamic? Because we know Grant's his seat it might be the hottest in the country.
Yeah, JJ, good question. If
Wait,
you
wait,
look
wait,
at
Sebastian. Let's
oh
let Blake on that one.
oh yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay, you did ask Sebastian there. The ACC is just so competitive in basketball. I mean, I look, the ACC, you got your tiers, you got your Duke, you got your North Carolina, you got your Louisville. Obviously some of the better teams up there, and then kind of at the bottom you have a team like Boston College and Wake Forest and Florida State teams that just aren't as good. I think there's going to be some parity in the ACC. I think Boston College will pull some upsets in their conference matchups. While I mean, I think Chase Forte will be a big boost for them. Getting a slasher at a guard position can be super duper important for a team. It's honestly too early to tell. I think Boston College maybe could jump up there and get some big wins over some ACC teams, but I wouldn't say that they could make a huge Cinderella run or even kind of get close to that top 10. It really just depends on how the season goes and what improvements we see out of that team, especially shooting the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think nowadays with the NIL, it is a lot more parity. You can get a guy like Chase Forte from the mid-major level who does get 18 points a game at Boston College because of the NIL, and he's not going to stay at South Dakota State because it's just a better opportunity at a Boston College ACC program. Sebastian, before the show, you were chirping about you thought the spread should have been higher. You thought it should have been 5-point favorites for FAU. Tell us why.
Yeah, JJ. Obviously, going into this game, it's a 1 point favorite. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? A 1 point favorite. That is blasphemy, like Stephen A. say. That is blasphemy. Yeah. But yeah, I'm surprised. It's a very competitive playing field. You know what I mean? People don't really expect it to be a blowout for FAU. It's gonna be people expect it to be a close game. I don't expect that, JJ. I think it's gonna be in a blowout. Is that a hot take? I mean, I don't know. That's what I think. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
I
But
think that's a little high. I think
Yeah,
you're still
that's
going up against a
it,
good team, but I do think FAU will definitely pull it out. But I think getting into that like middle of the second half, you can see FAU pull away. Don't
yeah,
think it's going to be a blowout, but I mean, look, anything can happen. It's college basketball. We haven't really seen these teams up against some great competition, which is why it's so great that FAU is playing this game to start out their season. You get to see what they can do against a great team in an awesome conference. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Going to be a lot of interesting matchups. One more thing, I think FAU, Sebastian, and you, JJ, mentioned it. We have the clear advantage in the front court. It's not even close. If it was just
yep.
the front court playing basketball, give me FAU by 50. But you got to have five guys out there. So I think it'll be a close game. I think clear advantage in the front court. I think the back court should be 50-50 just because of the experience that Boston College has there. I know FAU has it, but I think that experience from Boston College will give them like a better chance of competing with that front court. But it's going to be a great game and it's going to be a great season for FAU, no matter the result of this first game. But I think it's going to be a dub.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, man, and Sebastian, I think it is a little bit of a hot take on the scale. Watch out for a Marmku. Learn the name
Yep.
now. 17 minutes, 17 points. 5 for 5 from three. 9 for 9 from the field, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, yeah, 5 for 5 from the field, 3 for 3 from three, and then 4 for 4 from the line. Man, watch out for him. But man, Cannon Call, like there's so many guys on this team that could score 30 because pretty much everyone were 4 or 5 star recruits who transferred in. And we saw that 110 points in the scrimmage. That's two halves of 20 minutes. No other college basketball team is scoring 110 points, and we took our starters out with 10 minutes left in the second half where we had 95 points. FAU could have scored 130 points. Granted, it's a D2 school. Coach Jacobs said he expects to put up at least 90 every game, and that's because this offense is so talented. It's about getting the stops, but this is a really good matchup for FAU because BC can't shoot. And we know they're going to play with Chase Forte and Donald Hand, the two guys FAU has to watch out for. But the thing is that both of those guys, they don't create shots. They want it themselves. And FAU with their 1-3-1 zone is going to be able to prevent that. If FAU can rebound, stay within 5. That's all I want. I want them to stay within 5 of the rebounding margin. Maybe if they get rebounded 42, out rebounded 32 to 28, that's fine. It's within 5. They should be fine. If they keep the rebounding battle within 5, they will be fine. They will win this game. And I think they will. Man, get out to Boca Raton, the Baldwin Arena. It's going to be sold out. I mean, man, if you haven't been, you got to go. If I had to rate the football experience compared to the basketball experience, night and day difference. Basketball experience, we're in the top 30 atmospheres in the country. It's that good. And I'll say,
Throwing hot takes.
I don't think
This
that's
is a steaming hot take on the pod, but I love it. And I love it. I
don't
love
think
it.
that's a hot take,
I
man.
don't, that isn't a hot take, Blake.
Yeah,
Dude, if you all right.
It's facts.
Dude, you got
It's facts.
you have
Facts,
blue
Blake.
blood schools out here. You
Yeah,
got
there's
some crazy basketball programs. Hey, I love it. I love it. This FAU team, this FAU program has been on the rise since Golden came in here. I mean, look, that place gets rocking. I know it does. There's some great venues across the country. But put this out on Twitter. Let's see what the fans have to say about this one. Put this clip on Twitter. I want to see what the fans have to say about JJ saying FAU is a top 30 college basketball environment in the nation because, man, I mean, there's so many out there, but FAU, I think if this team is able to do what they did in 2023, I don't think there will be a single seat empty in that arena.
Hey,
Sebastian, what
Blake.
are your thoughts on the take?
Okay, honestly, I totally agree with you, JJ. I feel like, this team right here, I feel like they can sell out most of the crowds. Obviously, Blake, you really think that's a hot take? I don't agree with you. I think that's a perfectly valid take. I think that's perfectly rated. I think FAU can be just as good as FAU 2023 Final Four run. Okay, that's kind of a hot take right there. But honestly, I really like what both of you guys said during, for the game. Obviously, the zone coverage, I think that's going to be the main defensive, play for John Jacobs' Owls against a very good backcourt in Boston College, against Fortes. Which is going to be interesting because I think we can really trap them in that zone defense. Obviously, JJ, you said Amar Diop was an outstanding player. I think he's going to be the player of the game against Boston College. Obviously, he's a 3-and-D types of players. Obviously, Sissoko is going to get him involved, in the passing game. And I think he's going to be a main player. Amar, I think he's going to score 20 plus points against Boston College, a team. He's a very, he's a very tall guy. Amar Diop is that guy.
Yeah, and if you saw me looking down there, that's because I was sharing a post here to my computer so I could pull up what the announcers had to say about FAU's environment. Let's take a look.
Think of the atmosphere in this gym. It's tremendous. And like I said, I'd hate to be a visitor in here. Just everybody's on top of you. Tough place.
That's what CBS Sports, that was College Game Day basketball there for FAU Memphis in 2023. That's what they said about FAU. I mean, it's so loud. The band is great. I mean, the band is in your ear the whole time, Sebastian. Sebastian was there the other day. The fans, they're always starting chants, best music during the arena games. I've been to a Miami game. There's no fans there. I mean, This is a better atmosphere than Miami basketball. But last thing here on the pod, FAU landed 4-star Felipe Quinciones this Tuesday. Highest rated recruit in FAU history for basketball. And just a few weeks ago, they landed 4-star Josiah Parker. That's 2 4-stars, Sebastian, in the upcoming years. 2 guys who can make immediate impacts. Both of them. Josiah was the highest of all time. And then 3 weeks later, We land a new highest of all time. Coach Jacobs continues to put up numbers. What does this mean for the program? I'll let both of you guys.
All right, yeah, JJ. Obviously, Felipe Quintones is a very high scouted prospect for the Owls. I feel like him and Parker are gonna make an immediate impact once they get on the team. Obviously, Parker's on the team, but Felipe obviously has one more year left of high school. Obviously, he played at GM Academy, which he was very notable for. A very good outing, very good time at GM, and he also currently plays at Christopher Columbus High School, which is near my area in Miami, Florida, which is super great to see. Obviously, he played with the Boozer Twins, senior going into his last season. Can he bring a state championship back to Christopher Columbus? I think he can, because he's won multiple championships at Christopher Columbus, averaging 13 points per game. He's a very great guard, a 6'4" guard, and obviously he is a beast. Can create his own shot, can pass, he can rebound, he can do it all. He's a very high level scorer. And also a little fun fact: he's actually Puerto Rican, which is something I don't know if you guys know about it. He's actually Puerto Rican, and he also played at a 2024 FIBA Under-17 tournament basketball World Cup and averaged 13 points per game, which is very, very unique. But I'm expecting Felipe to make an immediate impact once he comes in next year. Obviously, he's a 4-star recruit, and he had multiple offers coming in, but he chose the Owls. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, Dusty May actually wanted him to get him recruit. I believe so, right?
Yeah,
If I'm not,
Dusty went
yeah,
really hard
yeah.
after him. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing about him is he had offers to Purdue, the number
Yep.
one ranked team in the
I know,
country. He had offers to
right?
Wake Forest, to Memphis, to Michigan. And he decided to come to FAU. I mean, wow.
Wow.
What day and age are we in now where the number one team in the country, they're offering you double the amount of NIL, and you decide to stay home. You decide to come to the FAU. Absolutely insane. This is actually
That's
what
loyalty. That's
about
loyalty right there.
this is actually what I said about Felipe Quinciones, and I want to have Blake react to it here. And before I get into what I said, I wanted to say a few things about him. When you watch his film, you can see how he turns defense into offense. Once he gets a defensive rebound, he's pushing the pace. He's taking up himself. He plays at that combo guard, shooting guard position. But what he does, he's going to push the pace. He's going to get a bucket. He's a very good north-south burst. He's very quick in transition. Probably the best ball handler in the class of 2026. I think he's the best ball handler in the class of 2026. Creates space really well. Excellent with his footwork, with stepping back. He loves the right elbow spot when he does pull up. Very good defense. Has really good lateral quickness. I did a full article scouting report on him, so check that out on at FAU.nightowls.com. But here's what I had to say about him, Sebastian, in my post here. If we can pull,
I believe I saw it.
let me know if we can indeed see it. Let me know. Was watching some film on Felipe Quinciones, and he should easily be a 5-star. Smooth mid-range from either elbow. Best ball handler in the class of 2026. Can knock it down from deep, and an elite defender. These are the kind of commits no other team in the conference can touch. And then let's take a look at some of his film. And you could talk over his film if you want, just like the Sports Center guys do it.
That ability to just kind of create shots for himself is massive, and that'll be a great boost to the FAU program. Just being able to kind of create. Look there, it's a smooth jumper. That's a smooth jumper. You need that. That's what Boston College is going to need. Look at that. Another one. Just a smooth jumper, able to kind of create for himself.
That jumper looks like butter.
That's just a great play right there, getting the ball inside and putting pressure on. And he's doing this against Team USA. That is a great basketball team. U17. There's some great players on that court. Look at that. Knocking shots down. He will bring a lot to this FAU program. I think it's huge to get recruits like that to FAU. I think the clip Yeah, I think that
Got
just
out to
is
a decent
clip
lead
ended,
early.
right? Yeah.
But now Puerto
So
Rico is on top.
it'll be
Following
big
the
for him.
three-point
It'll
bucket
be
by
big for this
Felipe
FAU program
Quinones.
to really have a guy like that
First
coming in.
quarter, Team USA.
He's gonna make a big difference with his
Got out
ability
to
to
a
create
first.
shots, his ability to kind of swing the ball and move it around. Yeah, I mean it's just huge. FU getting a 4-star recruit. Only other team that could possibly pull this out is Memphis, but FAU's location and just ability to recruit guys like this is huge. It's gonna be great for the future of this program. And you have a great opportunity to come and play at FAU. I think that's what is a great advantage as well. You can come in and be get a great first year, hopefully go off to the NBA draft. FAU, Elijah Martin, obviously an alum getting drafted this year, Vlad Golden getting drafted this year. So they have had guys that have ended up getting drafted to the NBA from the program. So it'll be great to see the future of this FAU program. I definitely think this year will be a big stepping stone, and hopefully we'll put this program in the right direction for the future.
Yeah, and Blake, not only did Martin and Golden go to the NBA, what about Nelly Davis, man? Also at the Magic, too. But let's take a look one more time at this one play, which really wowed me. Look, he's at midcourt. He's dribbling. He decides to switch direction left. He's at the left wing. In between the legs, step back on a 7-footer. He goes right over him. Bang! Right in the hoop. And you can see the reaction from the bench. What a play there. And he's the main guy for Puerto Rico. He's the best Puerto Rican player under 17, and that's against the U.S. as well. Last thing here for you guys, real quick. I'll pull it up in just a sec here. This is what I had to say. It went pretty viral over on social media. A lot of people, this is not viral in the college basketball space, obviously. Had 40K views on this one, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that. FAU is becoming the Gonzaga of the Southeast. Another 4-star, Felipe Quinones, chooses the Owls over Purdue, Baylor, and Michigan. The rise in Boca continues. Both of you, Sebastian, we'll start with you. Thoughts on it?
Wow, JJ, honestly, that's kind of a hot take right there. FAU becoming a Gonzaga of the South East. That's insane. But obviously, he added, just like Gonzaga, FAU adds talent like Josiah Parker and Felipe Quintones. Um, Obviously, Quintones chooses the Owls over Purdue, Baylor, and Michigan. But that's kind of a hot take. But not really, because I agree with you. I agree with you. I feel like FAU, once they get, Quintones on the team, once they add more recruits on the team, maybe they can add a 5-star. I feel like Felipe should have been a 5-star recruit. Maybe they can make another run to a championship, maybe even further, going to a national championship and even winning a championship. But only time will tell. Once I get to FAU, they can win a national championship. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know if people agree with you. Obviously, FAU fans might agree with you, but I agree with you with there. But yeah, that's honestly a very hot take, very good take, and that's honestly should be viral. So yeah,
Yeah, it went pretty well.
insane.
Blake, if you could see, I said they're the Gonzaga of the Southeast.
Yeah, I got it. I was here. I just
It
needed
was
to
a
go
really good reply, Blake, here.
grab something.
I kind of agree with it.
All the reason to pull back funding on FAU football. I mean, look, I think FAU football is still has definitely a lot of potential. They're still in the first year of that. Oh, we'll see how they finish off this season. But look, Gonzaga is a great program. I think an advantage that FAU has over Gonzaga is who would like to be up north in the rainy Washington entirety of the season when you can come to Paradise in Boca Raton and play with a great fan base and a great culture that likes to support you. Look, I think if you're able to kind of build a stronghold like that, you could definitely see FAU getting a little bit more movement in the conference world because Gonzaga doesn't really have a football team. FAU has football. and some recent success in football, albeit it was in 2019. But that's a program that can improve as well. When you're talking about the whole realignment as well, FAU can definitely rise in that because of how good their basketball program is. I know a lot of this alignment talk has been college football first, but basketball is going to be a huge factor in the future once all the football stuff gets settled out. Yeah, I think a Gonzaga comparison could be great. Hopefully, FAU can get it done. Uh, Kind of like Gonzaga to make it to a couple of national championships and having some on their resume. But overall, landing four-star recruits, having a great culture, a great coach, a great fan base, an awesome arena. It's a great time to be an FAU basketball fan. It's a great time to be an FAU
Yep.
student. I think there's a lot of potential that is happening and that is going to happen at FAU. But I mean, honestly, I think the three of us are all just so excited to see how this season plays out because we have seen how great this FAU team can be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Blake. Uh,
yeah, and I wanted
yeah,
to mention this too. Like, you're right, but the numbers actually did come out. FAU spent 25 total million on football this year. That ranked fourth in the conference. That's according to FAUsports.com. Maybe it's a little over, maybe it's under, but the number did come out because now teams have to report it to the conference of their NIL, and that ranked fourth overall in the conference. Man, this is not to disrespect the football, but 3-5 start. If we maybe make that 25 million, 15 million, spend that 10 million on basketball, you never know, right, Blake? You never know. We could become more of Gonzaga because we are 3-5 right now. We got Caden Velkip, we got Easton Messer, one of the most talented football rosters in the American, and we can't show for success. Last thing here. We went through BC, we went through the pod. What are your overall expectations for the season, Blake and Sebastian? Because this is the last pod we'll do before the season starts. So I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to replay this clip right at the end of the season. And we're going to come back to this. Man, you could say Final Four. You could say National Championship. If you call it now, people remember this and you go viral. Or if you take the honest take, if you say, 18 and 15 NIT appearance more like last year, that's fine too. We will start with Sebastian Fernandez.
yeah, JJ. Big expectations after that Florida Tech game. Huge expectations. Huge expectations. But before I say that, Blake, I really agree with you on that take. Who would rather play in Gonzaga rather than FAU in Winning in Paradise on the beach in the Sunshine State? Who would rather play in Gonzaga? I would rather play at FAU in that Sunshine State. Obviously, there could be movement. FAU could be changing conferences. There's rumors that FAU could go into the Big 12, right? Big 12, which is honestly insane because I feel like we deserve it, especially over the success we had for FAU basketball. Which honestly, if that's true, oh my goodness, that would be insane. But obviously, starting off with the expectations, second in the conference, baby. Second in the conference. I want to say first, but I think Memphis gets it. But I think we split against Memphis. I think we split the season series against Memphis in the conference. I'm going to say second in the conference. I think we make the NCAA tournament. I think we obliterate expectations out of the water. I think we can make it to an Elite Eight performance. Is that too much to ask for? I think that's too much to ask for. JJ's kind of shocked. Elite Eight, bring it, baby. Let's go.
I mean, it's hard to predict tournament success because March
Yeah.
Madness it's just like one game. It's so up in the air. Second in the conference is crazy. Memphis is predicted first. The odds maker have us as sixth in the conference, which is better than football. But still, I think we could definitely overexceed that. But you have a Sebastian. Let me ask you this: you have a second in the conference. Does that mean we get an at-large bid or win the conference tournament? Because usually the American Conference gets one school in. But recently, we've seen them get two. So are you saying they get an at-large?
They can possibly be, and that can definitely happen. I think that can definitely happen.
Yeah, I mean, they scheduled a tough enough schedule.
Yeah.
You have UCF, you have St. Mary's is probably going to be a quad one game on the road. Then you have, UCF, that could be quad two. Boston College will probably be quad two. So you have 3 quad one and quad two non-conference games, not to mention North Texas, USF, UAB, and Memphis will probably be quad 2 or quad 1. So that's 7 games, quad 1 and quad 2, which could get you that at large. Blake, expectations, are we that high on them to say Elite 8?
I don't necessarily want to go into a tournament just because I feel like it's kind of far away and you don't
Yeah.
know what can happen around the country. I
Blake,
will
you
say
might
though,
keep
I
bold.
I I'll give it tournament. I'll give it tournament.
Come back to this.
All right. I'll start out. I think FAU does make the conference championship game. I don't know how they'll finish in the conference, but I think they will make it to that conference championship game. I love the experiences the FAU team has. I think like they will be a top 4 team in the American Conference. I think that like 2, 3, 4 range is very much possible, and I think they do a good job in the conference championship tournament to eventually get into that conference championship game. I think they lose, but I do think 2 teams will make it out of the American Conference. Just because I think you have a team like Memphis in there. Teams like North Texas and USF are very, very competitive. I could definitely see FAU getting an at-large bid, making it to the tournament. I, you know, if you're in the tournament as an at-large, FAU's probably around that 11 to 13 seed in that opening round, so they will be playing a tough game. I think if FAU gets that 11 seed, you could definitely be on an upset watch against the 6 seed. I think FAU will make it to the round of 32. I don't know if they'll have a magical run, but I do think if they make the round of 32, they should hopefully be able to keep a lot of their guys from the season and hopefully do something bigger in the future. But round of 32 appearance for FAU.
Here's
Blake,
my take, guys.
it's a Cinderella story. It's a Cinderella story,
Unlike
Blake.
you guys, give me a conference championship, baby. I think FAU and USF are the top 2 teams in the conference. This is Memphis's worst team in the last decade. That's what even Memphis fans are saying. Even though they're predicted to win the conference, it's close, guys. Very close. Give me USF to get second in the conference. We win the regular season and we win the conference, baby. Back to back. We get an 8 seed in the tournament. The odd, I think we're going to end up being around that 25-7 mark because there are a lot of games where we could lose. Liberty. Liberty is predicted to be the best mid-major team. That's a really hard game. Charleston predicted to win their conference. Really hard game as well in the non-con. You got to play St. Mary's, UCF, Boston College. 7 losses, we win the regular season, we win the conference. Then, tournament success is so up in the air. I think we lose to the 1 seed in the round of 32. Look, it depends who we play. I'm going to say
I agree.
Sweet 16 is my expectation. But if we go round of 32, I'm not mad. Hot take, baby. All 3 of us have FAU making the tournament. How good is it to be an owl, ladies and gentlemen? First game of the season, ESPNU this Monday night at 7. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go, Owls.
Go Owls, baby. Let's go FAU.